It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Defended in the corner.
To Abdul-Rahman at midcourt. Extra pass. And it goes for the win. The three-pointer by Jordan Poole. Here's the give. Walker. Kenneth Walker. Touchdown. Smarty.
Goff's got it. Back. Looks. Throws. Ends up.
Yes.
Caught. Touchdown Detroit Lions. They did it. Amon-Ra St. Brown in the receiving end.
Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's out of here. A grand slam from Miguel Cabrera. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Is it shine, folks? Good Thursday morning to you. It is the first day of the month, June 1st, 2023. Wow. Here it is. Already June. Happy summer. I know it's not officially summer, but it's officially summer in my calendar. And as far as I know, my calendar is the only one that matters to me. It's hot as hell outside, so it's summertime. Happy summer to everybody. Happy first of the month to everybody, and welcome to X's and Bros here on the Michigan Sports Network. Danny Cahalan, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Thank you for joining us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio as well. From Traverse City down to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City, we say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you. Join the program at any time. You can text the keyword sports radio. Send that to 21,000. Sports radio to 21000. Our Meyer Supercenter guest line, 248-951-2176. 248-951-2176. We're on Twitter at XP Mornings, Facebook, X's and Bros. And, of course, good morning to our television audience as well on both BCSN and streaming live on our YouTube page at Michigan Sports Network. Add a .com to that to find our website. Danny Cahalan is a Dan in the studio. Ryan Elke is at RyanL_Key, and I'm Anthony Bellino at AAC Bellino. Gentlemen, good morning to both of you. How are we this morning? What's going on? How's everybody feeling? What'd you watch last night? The Sports Dead Zone. You know it's the dead zone of sports when it's ESPN 30 for 30 docuseries season.
Oh, I mean, I had the college national championship golf match on for a couple hours.
I saw that early this morning at about 1:30. They were still playing that.
Yeah, I don't know if Florida was up 4 matches to 1 when I turned it off. So I think they had it handled.
They taking on Georgia Tech?
Yes.
Yeah. See, I told you about 1:30 is the last time I looked at the clock today. And I was like, man, it is late. You are bleeping up right now, and those kids are pretty good. Those kids are pretty good.
Those are some pin positions out there that they had.
My goodness. But, yeah, I mean, when you're resulting to, the Division I NCAA championships of golf, MLS soccer was on late last night. I mean, just a brutal sports night. I knew when the American Gladiators documentary came on, which I loved American Gladiators as a kid. Like, I can still hear the music. Like, I love that show. All I wanted to do was compete in the game where the guy shot the tennis balls at you. That's all I wanted.
Oh, that was the best game ever.
You think? Are you teasing me? Or are you?
No, that was the best one.
It was awesome.
And it was always hilarious if the guy got eliminated on the first shot.
Well, did you watch it? Isn't it fake? Like, everybody thought it was a real competition when it was just the same people all the time.
No, I didn't really watch the documentary.
I'm pretty sure that was the documentary. It was basically like these people got their butts kicked every day on that show.
Well, yeah, just imagine if you were like, hey, I want to compete in an athletic competition. All right, here's Brock Lesnar standing with a machine gun full of tennis balls. And if you get through him, The next thing you got to do is pick a wall and hope he's not on the other side. And also, we're going to make you run up a treadmill going the opposite way, uphill.
Just awesome. The whole premise, I did see, for the little bit that I had actually paid attention, it sounded like the creator of the program got the screw, and that's what I took out of it. But outside of that, and that the actual gladiators themselves, you're talking about a bunch of people that work out a lot, very physically fit, probably higher levels of testosterone. The males are a little
high
bit
T levels.
Yeah, high T. Physically fit, testosterone's flowing.
Wear tactical glasses.
What do you think is going to? What do you think is going to happen when the show's over? Right? Everybody looks decent. What do you think is going to happen? Like, they're all adults. Maybe there was some narcotics use, alcohol. I like when they're like, oh yeah, they drank, like they used alcohol. Of course they drank. It's the United States. It's a big deal. I don't care if a guy goes home and rips 30. It's illegal. Like, what's the difference? What do I care? But it sounded like it was just this big wild party bus all the time. I'll put it that way. So very
gladiators gone wild.
For real. But very, very interesting. Quite a like I said, the little snippet that I watched. Outside of that, there's like nothing. There wasn't even a good show on television last night.
Well, no,
that's what I need
it's
to do.
June because A, all the writers are on strike right now, and B, all the series would be wrapped up by now anyway, and you'd get into next couple weeks would be like the summer short series that networks throw on. I watched the finale of Ted Lasso last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What is that on?
Apple Plus.
No wonder I haven't watched it.
Yeah. So, well, hey, if you
it's a soccer show, Anthony. I don't know if it's really up your alley. It's like The Office, soccer style. But yeah, it's a funny show.
Solid show.
It seems to get great reviews. Like, people are always like talking about, oh, Ted Lasso. I don't know who Ted Lasso is. I know he's a coach. But outside of that, like the soccer show that I watched recently was the documentary on Wrexham, which is the team that Ryan Reynolds bought into, and they're just
Rob
dumping a bunch of...
Who? Rob McElhenney. He's on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah, that's the guy. I never would have known his name, but that is the.
Well, if you watch more of it, they make a song with their names in it. That's their new song for the club.
I mean, if you went from zeros to heroes, I'd be doing the same thing. And then late last night, we got a breaking news bulletin that, thinking about it and going back to it, James Edwards knew the entire time we had him on, he just couldn't say anything. And when I asked him about a prediction for a Pistons hire, between today sometime and Sunday, sounded a little weird. And if it's not Kevin Ollie, who's allegedly a front runner, who do you think is? I think it's somebody else they've been real quiet about. He knew the whole time, because later on yesterday, Monty Williams would sign on to coach the Detroit Pistons. He's agreed to, in principle, a record 6-year, $78.5 million deal with incentives. Could be $100 million. We're obviously going to talk a lot about that and try to get that from every angle. But that was it was great, the fact that Shams and James Edwards crediting each other in their tweets, and knowing that we had James on, and thinking back to it and listening back to it, and James knowing the entire time about the story, like, oh, you're going to drop a story later. And
I think we just need to call James back up at like 8:17. Be like,
good morning.
Listen, jerk. You had the news.
Good morning, James. How are you? Anything you want to talk about today? That's interesting. But we'll step aside when we return. The Tigers took care of business, picked up a dub yesterday against the Texas Rangers. We'll talk about it next year. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Disturbed, the Take Back Your Life tour. Labor Day Monday, September 4th at Soaring Eagle. And same show, same night, Stain. Tickets start at $34 and on sale now at the Soaring Eagle box office or etix.com. Party hard, rock harder.
It's been a while.
Disturbed and Stained. Labor Day Monday. Part of the Soaring Eagle Summer Outdoor Concert Series.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Huge here for my good friend Tom Rosenbach and his team at Bean Carter. They're one of America's top accounting and business firms. They're based in downtown Grand Rapids, and now they're stronger than ever before with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew. Now, Dorn Mayhew is an east side firm. Now you get the west side of Michigan with Bean Carter, and whether you're a small business or big business, they can handle all of your accounting and business needs at Bean Carter. Just go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I mentioned with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew, they cover all of Michigan, the Midwest, and coast to coast. Find out how the pros at Bean Carter can help your business today. Go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I know Tom Rosenbach and his team are so happy about their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew.
Share your thoughts all morning long on the Meyer Guest Line. Call 248-951-2176. That's 248-951-2176. Now, back to Danny, Ryan, and AB.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you ride along with us as the beautiful weather outside. Man, it's going to be a great weekend ahead of us as well. Golf season is here. It's in full swing. Matt Golden and his team ready to welcome you with open arms to one of the best golfing experiences in the great state of Michigan. It's called Tullymore Golf Resort. You hear me talk about them all the time here on the program. Located in Canadian Lakes, it's an hour north of Grand Rapids, about 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant. So it's smack dab in the middle of the state, easy to get to no matter what direction you're coming from. Tullymore not only features top-line golf, but also top-line accommodations and the perfect space for a wedding event, reception, or group outing. Visit TullymoreGolf.com. That's TullymoreGolf.com, or call 1-800-972-4837, 1-800-972-4837. Book your stay and play at Tullymore today. All right, so earlier in the day, yesterday, the Detroit Tigers got a 3-2 victory, which congratulations to them. They pick up one game against the Texas Rangers, and it does matter. I'm not saying that in jest. They needed to grab one. Yeah, you don't want to get broomed out of this series against a very good Texas team that's 15 games over 500 and is way better than I think most people thought that they would be, especially with the series coming up this weekend against the White Sox. And if you're able to get your own broom out against them, you could find yourself above 500 going into early next week, which would be very exciting. Joey Wentz lasted 4 1/3, gave up 7 hits and an earned run, did walk 1, but struck out 5, so not terrible. Shreve came in, only got 2 outs, but gave up 2 hits and an earned run, and that was really all the damage that was done. So good on Joey Wentz for having 82 pitches over 4 1/3 isn't bad. 7 hits isn't it's not ideal, right? It's not the best thing ever, but keeping that run number low, that walk number low, and 5 strikeouts to 1 walk, I think is a decent number for Joey Wentz. And then on the batting side of things, 9 team strikeouts for the Tigers, only 1 walk draw, and that was Nick Maton. He was 1 for 2 in the day with the walk and a run scored and a strikeout, hitting 167. McKinstry was 1 for 5 in the leadoff spot, and he's there because of the bad news that we received earlier in the day, which is the fact that prior to the game, we got the news that the Tigers Riley Green. Now, my fear was it was going to be like something soft tissue. We talked about it yesterday and playing the A.J. Hinch audio on the game. It's that below the knee, above the ankle. Does that mean calf? Are we talking Achilles? Like what does this mean? Well, it's not tissue injury. It's a stress fracture in his fibula. Green will receive a second medical opinion before the Tigers determine a timetable for his return.
Have you noticed how he runs so heavy?
He runs heavy? Does he
I don't know. I noticed these things. He runs so much with his legs. It's hard to explain unless you're there all the time. You can see it.
You want to run on his hands? You want to bear crawl out there?
No, but I'm saying how you should really use your upper body. Throw your upper body to move forward. He throws his hips. It's hard. I know it's weird, but I see him run every single day, so I just know. It's kind of like
does he run like
you just
looks
know
like a gimp?
Yes, he does.
Okay.
He and I think that maybe has a lot to do with this injury. I mean, you look at I knew from day one Michael Fulmer was going to have an arm injury. I knew from day one Alex Faedo was going to have arm injuries, just based on how they throw the ball and how they use their body to whip their arms. You just knew, okay, arm injury is coming. I could tell just the way he runs isn't technically sound, and it's not good for his body.
He needs to get into the GOTA program is what he needs to do. Go see my boy John Carabino down there at Level Up in Monroe, where they focus on, I know I've talked about this before, but it is to prevent knee injuries and how we run, how we operate, how we sit. Like, dude eats on the floor. I swear to God, he eats on the floor. Like he sits on the floor and eats because we're not made to be sitting in chairs. And you start listening to him talking like, yo, this all makes perfect sense, but it's how your ankle, how that functions in relation to your knee and to your hips and how your body generates. So he works a lot with football and basketball, players, volleyball players, baseball. They got all kinds of stuff going on in his facility. But they do a lot of, like, at the youth level, trying to get them to, like, think of the way that your ankle operates. And, he went in on Jameson Williams and why he blew his knee out. And right now there's a big campaign going up against field turf, but it's not. It's not. It's the way that we're lifting is wrong. How we lift is wrong. Yes, everything you've been taught has basically been wrong because we're not built
Please
to
wear
like
shoes
that.
when you lift.
Yeah,
I don't.
I wouldn't go shoeless purely based on the idea of dropping a weight on your toe. That sounds terrible. I would never do that. That sounds awful. I know unless it's a steel toe, it's not going to do much. But still, just having a shoe there would be good. Nobody wants your fungus feet running around. Although I don't think I've ever seen anybody.
What steel toes are really made for, right?
Not to have your foot ran over, right? Or drive a stake through it?
No, it's in case you do. You get a clean cut and they can put your toes back on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like, a couple 1,000 pounds drops on there. Well, it's a clean cut. We can just put them back on.
That's interesting. I don't know if that always works, but in theory, I guess it's a good idea. Yeah. Well. Riley Green, he's injured and his shin's broke, and it's a stress fracture. And he's 22 years old, and he's hitting .296 with 5 home runs and 18 RBI. And what's he hitting this month, Dan?
I believe it was 368.
368 in the month of May?
Yes.
So Eduardo's got his pulley injury that's going to be a lot worse than whatever they're reporting. I can guarantee you that. That injury, the ruptured pulley.
Maybe not. Yeah, maybe not as it will be. He will be out longer than the estimated. Because, yeah, it's going to take him that long to be able to begin throwing. And then what?
Oh, it's good. It's bad. I guarantee they're trying to keep this close to the vest because they're going to want to deal him. And they don't want people to know that, it's just going to be reoccurring 15-day DLs. Like, that's what it's going to be until they come out with the big announcement that his finger is literally hanging on by a thread. And that's what they're going to do. And Riley Green, at least they're open and honest about it early and like, yep, it's a stress fracture. They didn't try to hide it. We'll see. I don't know what exactly this means, but you're talking about a team that has had this is frustrating because this is a guy who lost a large portion of the season last year to begin the year because of a broken foot. So, it's like, he's got the goods. And he just, right now just can't stay healthy, unfortunately. So
365, 1008 OPS this month in 25 games.
Man. And, look, Tyler Nevin was 2 for 4 yesterday. Let me just throw that out there. But we have, 3 guys in our lineup yesterday that are hitting less than 170. Like, those guys are going to have to at least be able to, carry some water around, for this team to be able to stay afloat while they try to, what I would assume is sustain some pretty nasty games here now that you lost the ace of your staff and your best player in the field. They're gone. I don't expect them back anytime soon. I think at least a month for both is probably, on the safe side of guessing right now, just throwing darts at the ball. So, as of this Thursday, June 1st, and like we said yesterday, like, who knows what the injury is going to mean, and we'll find out more information. Sure enough, yesterday morning, 90 minutes after the show's over, boom, Riley Green's fibula is cracked in half. Like, that doesn't sound good. All right, we're going to step aside. When we return, the big news. Where are we at on the confidence meter? Monty Pistons and the Holy Grail. Huh? Monty Python. Here he comes. Monty Williams is the new head coach for the Detroit Pistons. We'll talk about it next year. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Hey, this is Matt Shepard from the Michigan Sports Network. I love summers in Michigan because it means golf season. Now, 2 things always when I go golfing. I make sure I got my sticks, and I've got plenty of cold, fresh Labatt Blue Light. Whether I've just squeezed in 18 holes or I just want to relax on the patio after a long day, everywhere I go, and I'm serious when I tell you this, I tell people about the smooth, genuine taste of Labatt Blue Light. It's just a great beer. Michigan Sports Network is giving you a chance to win a foursome to Michigan's best courses. Just listen weekdays to The Huge Show and X's and Bros, or just text GOLF to 21,000 to enter. That's GOLF to 21,000. The trip includes 2 overnight stays and 2 rounds of golf, all brought to you by my friends at Labatt Blue Light. So grab a Labatt Blue Light the next time you head out onto the course and enjoy the blue skies, because blue is for Michigan summers and great times. Always enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2023 Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York. All rights reserved. Labatt is a registered U.S. trademark of Labatt Brewing Company, Ltd.
Did you know that churches, businesses, schools, and sporting events need to be safe? Of course you did. But did you know where many of those groups and organizations turn to make sure their safety measures are current and comprehensive? Their local Michigan Police Department. That's where. We all want to be safe, and we can bring in the experts by starting the conversation with our local police department. Contact them today to find out more.
Imagine this, a day filled with indulgence, bursting with excitement, and packed with extraordinary moments that build memories to last a lifetime. A day that is unmistakably yours, at the place that is undeniably spectacular. Whether you're winning big, dining lavishly, or relaxing oh so comfortably, it's your getaway reimagined at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
listening to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Can't call in? Text us using the keyword sports radio and send it to 21000 or tweet us at XB Mornings. Now back to Danny Cahalan, Ryan Elke, and Anthony Bellino.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. A reminder, folks, is that you can download the new DraftKings Casino app. This is great. Play all the classics like blackjack, roulette, and slots, plus enjoy exclusive games you can't find anywhere else. Right now, new customers who deposit at least $5 can get a match of their first deposit and score up to $2,000 in casino bonus funds. All you have to do is sign up and select the offer of your choice. Start playing from a full suite of games. Your way is the only way to play. At DraftKings Casino, you can play online on your time and your space within your means. It's safe, secure, and reliable, so you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you are ready. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook Casino app right now. Sign up using the promo code HUGE and get a match of your first deposit of $5 or more up to $2,000 in casino bonus funds. Only at DraftKings Casino, only using the promo code HUGE. Now, if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline at 800-270-7117. 21 plus, Michigan only. One per opted-in customer. Minimum $5 deposit, maximum $2,000 match. Deposit and bonus amounts required. 15 times playthrough within 30 days. See terms at casino.draftkings.com/players choice. Restrictions do apply. Welcome back here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Got a couple of texts here. Green over Rodman 100. I don't know who said that. That must be from yesterday. 100% a footnote. Cooley came back from cancer, but it's not something you watch a whole baseball game for in May, especially a Game 7 going on at the same time. That was from Ty on YouTube from yesterday. Yeah, Ty, you're 100% correct there. Tigers will win without Eduardo. Tigers will win the next playoff game in this town in October. Book it. Okay, Freddie, let's get to 500 first, please. Let's get to 500 before we start talking about the playoffs.
May not have to.
This is true.
Last day of the season, we get to 500 and win the division. That'd be great.
Isn't that something?
Turn into like the Seattle Seahawks and get Marshawn Lynch and his beast run. They were like 7-9 that year. That happened.
Now, in this town, we offered a head coach a job, and they say no. A few weeks later, they offer him a ransom, and he says yes. Are we serious? We are begging now. Troy Weaver better get this right, or everyone can spare me with, give it up over Al Avila. It's 2 days in a row. We were like 2 months without him. We got to just stop with the Al Avila stuff. Just get over it. Get over it. Where's Al Avila right now? What's his job title right now? Does anybody know? You know off the top of your head? You know who he's employed by?
No.
So is he a general manager of one of the 29 other clubs in Major League Baseball?
I think he might be a special assistant. I don't know if he even ever got rehired by somebody.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that should tell you everything you need to know then right there. He wasn't a hot commodity, a big name coming off the board there for a GM opening? Like at any point in Al Avila's tenure, would you have given him up for Theo Epstein? Yes or no?
Yes.
Exactly. Like, come on. Stop with the Al Avila stuff, Freddie. It's over. He's done. It's all done. It's in the past now. You got to let that go, as if you're holding on to Marty Morningwig. Just let it go. It's over. Or Matt Patricia or Bob Quinn. It's done. You can't go back and change it. It happened. It is what it is. We lived through it. Maybe the franchise and organization is better for it. I don't know. But it's a wrap. So Al's gone. We can move on from Al. Weaver can hit Metro Airport so fast and never come back. All he had to do was build an 8-man rotation, not an MLB club and 4 minor league teams. Peeved in the 313. That comes from Freddie. I look. Was there ever a formal offer that you are aware of? Today's a day of celebration, right? Let's not get all negative Nancy here and be all, up in arms over and try to, find things to nitpick at and be upset over. That's just, you're just choosing to be negative at that point. I'm not going to choose to do that. Where was there ever a formal offer that was accepted by Monty, or a former offer that was given to Monty Williams from the Detroit Pistons where he said no? Where was that ever reported?
It was by some random Twitter account.
Some random Twitter account. So not somebody like a Woj or Shams or the guy we had on the radio yesterday that had the story the entire time was sitting on it, hatching an egg with us at 8:35 in the morning. James Edwards, you dog, you. So it wasn't anybody credible.
No.
It was just NBA whatever fluff account at whatever on Twitter.
Like B-ball hype or something. I can't remember what's that Twitter account is, but
Hoops hype?
Not Hoops hype. I'd have to do some digging, but they have quite a bit of followers, but it's hard to judge. Like, is any of this credible, or do you guys just spread a lot of fake stories and get some followers out of it?
Right. So until I see a report where they say, because I feel like we would have talked about that. I feel like we would have said, like, oh, hey, by the way, the Pistons offered Monty Williams, and he said no. I'm looking at it like this. 6 years, $78.5 million. The money doesn't matter, folks. The money doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter to you what they pay him. You want to know why? Because it's not your money. And it doesn't count against the salary cap. So what's the difference? Honestly. You're going to pay him 6 years and $78.5 million over the 6-year span. It's got incentives. It could go up to $100 million. He's going to be the second highest paid person per year on the Pistons payroll. But he doesn't count against the cap. So why does the money bother you? If they paid him $78.5 million a year, what's the difference?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy, Anthony, sure, but I mean, he sign a quality free agent.
There are none. Jeremy Grant's the only guy out there I would look at. Yesterday it was pitched to me, Harrison Barnes, no. Fred VanVleet, no. Who was the other guy? Victor Oladipo, no. I like Jeremy Grant's the only guy. There's this terrible class. This class is not it.
Fred VanVleet, Karis LeVert, D'Angelo Russell, Gary Trent, Malik Beasley. You got to sign some middle-of-the-road guys, Anthony. We can't have – Corey Joseph was the 10th dude on that Raptors team. That's not what we need.
Fred VanVleet is going to command a high dollar in 5 minutes at the point guard position. So what are you going to do with Cade? That doesn't get you anywhere.
And I understand both of your guys' points, where it's like, hey, let's not throw a lot of money at this middling to low free agent class. And Dan saying, hey, we need to build a team, or else Monty Williams will turn into Dwayne Casey. Monty Williams will turn into Jeff Blashill. Where it's like, hey, like, we'll give you leeway because we're looking at the team that's given to you. And then after all of a sudden, like, 6 years, it's like, okay, like, yeah, we haven't given you much, but you also haven't done much with, you haven't exceeded any expectations. So I'm just hoping that if Gorse is willing to say, hey, I'm going to open my pocketbook for you and show good faith that we're going to do the same for this team. We're going to go at all costs to rebuild this team quicker. And also, Matt Ishbia, if you want to do us more favors, trade us Devin Booker.
Yeah, just release him and let us sign him. So
no, just trade for, we'll give you the number 5 and 3 second-round picks.
Perfect. I'm in.
And Corey Joseph.
This, to me, you finally have an owner that is willing to open up the checkbook to go get a guy. These owners don't spend any money. Chris Ilitch doesn't spend any money. He only builds parking lots. They won't spend any money. Here goes an organization trying to spend some money. I can't believe they'd pay. What is wrong with you people? What are you mad about? 1, it ain't your money. 2, I'm the most money-conscious person out there, but it doesn't affect the cap, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's Tom Gorse's money. What's the difference? Pay him $100 million a season. If he gets the team to 41 wins next year, I'd say that's money well spent. Dwayne Casey's a nice guy. Win some games. I don't care if you're a nice guy anymore. I really don't. I want a savage out there. That's what I want. I want somebody who people play hard for, not like, oh, well, you know, we're getting a little better. I don't want that. I don't want that. Win some damn games. 17 wins in a season is not good enough. The guy had a worse winning percentage than Matt Patricia. Like, well, he's a really nice guy. I don't care. Go be a jerk.
And if you're upset over the hire, who else did you want?
Thank you. I'm upset over the way. I'm glad they hired him, but I'm not happy the way it went down. How do you know how it went down? You weren't there.
Right. Because, like, really, there was a group of 4 coaches this off-season cycle where if you're a team that had an opening, that you're like, all right, there's Budenhauser, there's Doc Rivers, Monty Williams, Nick Nurse. Those are the proven coaches, and Ime Udoka. Those are the proven guys out on this market. Everything else is kind of a gamble. And with the coaches, those bigger name coaches, we all know their flaws. Like, they have enough of a track record where you know exactly what you're getting when you hire these guys. So it's like either break the bank for one of these big free agent coaches, especially if you're the Pistons. You have to break the bank to lure Monty Williams away from those other openings. Or else you're taking, you're taking the mystery box with an assistant coach. You have no idea what's in there. It could be anything. It could be a boat. You don't know.
Here is where this story gets misconstrued. 2 weeks prior, for Monty Williams, the 2022 NBA Coach of the Year, when he was fired by the Phoenix Suns after the Western Conference Finals semifinals exit, Detroit had checked in with Williams and his representatives to gauge any interest in the coaching vacancy. Now, this is 2 weeks prior to the organization had another meeting. They were getting everybody together, heads of state, right? And they were looking at everybody. They're interviewing everybody. And it's the weekend before Memorial Day. Tom Gorse, Troy Weaver, the front office, they held a meeting. And that is where they went back to this, quote, what if we go back to Monty? Because when he got fired in Phoenix, according to a league source, Detroit immediately picked up the phone, called his agent to gauge interest. Would you like to meet? Monty had informed the Pistons, the Bucks, and other NBA teams that were calling his phone. He wasn't ready to commit to coaching next season, and he was leaning towards taking a year off. The Pistons ever made a formal offer? Okay, that's great. Which goes back to my original point. When was a formal offer made that he turned it down? But if Milwaukee with Giannis Antetokounmpo calls him, and they're like, hey, what are you doing, old Monty? And he's like, I don't know. I'm thinking about taking a year off. Okay. All right. So go back to him. And, hey, Monty, I know you're thinking about taking a year off. We just wanted to meet with you. Here's a number that we have for you. We'll come out to Phoenix. We'll get this, we'll hand out some paperwork. And Gorse actually sent a plane to Phoenix to pick him up and then brought him back to his house. Said, what's it going to take? You really want to take a year off? This is what we have. How's $78.5 million sound? Now, I'll tell you what, I'm not taking a year off.
Also, it's an interesting thing to know, Monty Williams does buy a property here in Metro Detroit of who his mortgage lender will be.
Oh, man. That's talk about a great story there. That could be a 3-part series. But he'll probably pay cash, so he probably doesn't need a lender. You know what I mean? Like, when you have that much money,
right.
You're not, you could probably just stay here, cut the check, get it over with. I mean, this is a home run hire, and it should be a day of celebration. And the first time we talk about it today, we got complaints.
It's not complaints, Anthony. It's the fact that the Suns had Devin Booker averaging 27 points and DeAndre Ayton averaging 19 points, and they were 5 games under 500. And then guess what? They went and got Chris Paul, a top 5 point guard of all time, and they got good. You have to get players too. And I'm not talking washed up guys.
Yeah, look, they go from 34 and 39 during the 2019-2020 campaign, COVID year, to 51 and 21, 64 and 18, 45 and 37.
And we all remember that bubble too. They were hot in the bubble. The TJ Warren run.
Bubble madness. I get that you have to have players, but I've never seen a team win without players.
No, my only hope is that if Tom Gores is willing to really open up the checkbook for a head coach, that this is a philosophy change in how he's running this organization from here on out. Saying, all right, now that I feel like we got a better coach in place, we're going 100% in. Enough of this tanking business, enough of sitting players, enough of 21 seasons. It's all systems go. Like we've done our time. It's go time now.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's the from the ownership standpoint, outside of the X's and O's, because let's be honest, it's the NBA. Like, everybody's running the same stuff. Everybody knows what everybody runs. Everybody runs the same stuff. When you get a head coach, it's about culture. It's about philosophy. It's about managing personalities. It's about managing minutes, right? And maximizing, squeezing all the juice you can out of guys. Like, that's what it's about. And from what Monty Williams has been through in his life, I kind of feel like, you know what, if you have an issue with Monty Williams, that's probably more indicative of you than it is of him. Someone with a lot of perspective. A lot of perspective. And it was a very difficult thing when you go back to his history and see what he has been living with and living through, the amount of loss that he has had in his immediate family. And you look at a guy who's pretty Brazilian. And everywhere he goes, they've been pretty good. He's pretty good with young players. I mean,
don't do that, Anthony. We've been hearing, we heard that about Dwayne Casey. We heard that about SVG. Come on.
When did anybody say Stan Van Gundy was good with young players? Stan Van Gundy is like the complete. He's like Tom Thibodeau. Like, I never heard anybody say Stan Van Gundy's good with young players. He's a screamer. He's exhausting. Same with Tom. Like, that's why Tibbs will be on his way out in New York. There's only so much of that. You can't do 3-hour practices every day. It's not going to work. You're going to lose your guys. And as for Dwayne Casey, like, yeah, another really, like, look, nice guy. People have nothing but positive things to say about how nice he is as a person. That's fine. I need somebody that can take this team to the next level. Is it Monty Williams? We don't know. But we know he's probably the best name on the market. And look, like Nick Nurse, would you rather Monty Williams or Nick Nurse? Or Mike Budenholzer or Monty Williams? Like, those are your three. Ime Udoka, I don't know. Would the Celtics have been better off keeping him? Probably. But, you know, at some point, like, you know, character's got to matter a little bit. Like, for me, it's a celebratory time. And I didn't realize what time it is, so we got to step aside. We'll be back with more X's and Bros after this here on the Michigan Sports Network.
The Take Back Your Life Tour. Labor Day Monday, September 4th at Soaring Eagle. And same show, same night, Stained. Tickets start at $34 and on sale now at the Soaring Eagle box office or etix.com. Party hard, rock harder. It's been a while. Disturbed and Stained. Labor Day Monday. Part of the Soaring Eagle Summer Outdoor Concert Series.
Huge here for my good friend Tom Rosenbach and his team at Bean Carter. They're one of America's top accounting and business firms. They're based in downtown Grand Rapids, and now they're stronger than ever before with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew. Now, Dorn Mayhew is an east side firm. Now you get the west side of Michigan with Bean Carter. And whether you're a small business or big business, They can handle all of your accounting and business needs at Bean Carter. Just go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I mentioned with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew, they cover all of Michigan, the Midwest, and coast to coast. Find out how the pros at Bean Carter can help your business today. Go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I know Tom Rosenbach and his team are so happy about their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew.
Shop everything you need for Memorial Day with one stop at Meijer. Get buy one, get one free 80% lean ground beef. Buy 5, save $5 on Aunt Millie's Stadium Buns, Coca-Cola or Pepsi 24-pack, plus deposit where applicable. Sweet Baby Ray's sauce and Lay's potato chips. Plus, have fun in the sun with 40% off the entire stock of swimwear for the family. Celebrate together and get the same prices online and in-store this week at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive boys and girls high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
Good morning, everyone.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
How are you?
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a good morning. Wake up to a brand new day.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Welcome back here. Hour number 2, X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Danny Caitlin, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Thank you for joining us. You text the keyword sports radio, send that to 21,000, sports radio to 21000. Meyer Supercenter guest line 248-951-2176, 248-951-2176. It's great to be with you. By the way, I've been over here researching steel toe boots because of a message.
Dude, I'm
that I got
telling
from Chris. It's not for a clean cut for your toes, man. It's to protect your toes and feet from being cut.
Listen.
Listen. You want me to read it to you? Go ahead.
No, Anthony.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that is for situations where, yeah, you're working with heavy things. I'm talking about when there's a possibility your foot could get run over by a front loader that weighs 30,000 pounds.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything in any of the articles that I've been reading in the breaks about the clean cutting of toes. If you find one, just send it to me. I just want to read it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all. I just want to see. That's it. But it was built to protect people from falling objects on their toes or cutting your toes, like if you're working with like chainsaws and things of that nature. Let's get to Dale and Muskegon's on hold. Who's first, Dale or Greg?
Dale.
All right, let's get to Dale. Dale, good morning to you, my friend. How are you, partner?
Good morning, guys. So I'm not super excited about the coach hire. It has nothing to do with Monty. Look, Monty, the Pistons are not a coach away from being good. Like, they're not going to get a coach and take them to the next level. They need players. So, I mean, I understand it's like a double-edged sword. Like, the coach is important because he can give you the next players. Like, some players might come because of him coming there. But, I mean, I think bench players are more important than a coach. These guys have been playing for 20 years by this time. They know how to play the game. X's and O's are there. They can run practices. It's really about, I guess, maybe a culture, bringing a culture. But I could have coached the Heat at some point. I could have coached Golden State to championships. I mean, let's be real. How important to coach?
I don't think any regular Joe is coaching the Miami Heat or the Golden State Warriors to a playoff berth, much less a championship. I'm just saying.
Are you telling me when they had the big three, and when you had Kevin Durant and the big three, they could have coasted and with you for a coach? Literally.
I'm not. Look. I'm not going to disrespect the position that much. I mean, I know that everybody runs the same stuff, but like, how would you prepare a practice plan?
I mean, I would Google it. I would YouTube it.
Yeah, that's. But Dale, come on. We got to have some respect for the job, Dale. You're not going to walk in and coach professional athletes because you never did it, so they're going to laugh at you. They'll be like, "What's your resume? What are you trying to tell us to do?" They're going to tune you right out. You're not going to have any. You're not going to have any leverage with them. You're going to pull a guy out and he's going to laugh at you. Then coming out of the game.
Yeah, but with them teams, you would have to call the big three out. They can run themselves. And I'm being a little bit, over the dramatic here, but let's be honest. How are the Pistons a coach away from getting a playoff berth? Do you think?
I'll ask you this then, and I'll preface this by saying that yes, I'm a fan of Hamidou Diallo because I think he brings athleticism to a team that doesn't have a bunch of athletes. Now they do. Now they've got a handful, but they hadn't before. Why would Hamidou Diallo play 15 or 18 minutes one night and then get a DNP the next night? That's something that always bothered me because if you are a part of the rotation, there was never a set rotation, ever. You would have guys coming in there playing 30 minutes one night and playing 10 minutes the next. Like, there's really not that kind of disparity in a matchup. Like, we're not seeing Kevin Durant every single night, so what exactly are we doing? And that's something I found very frustrating with Dwayne Casey. If you have Monty Williams and he can come in and the young guys enjoy playing for him and they see what the end goal, what the vision is, they have somebody now that maybe he's a little bit more relatable in the locker room. Because, I mean, I think that at the professional basketball level, I'm on par with you saying it's more players than it is coach. But the coach has to be able to manage those personalities, right? He's got to be able to get the best out of all of the guys on the roster. And maybe help identify talent. Maybe he likes a free agent in this class that we haven't really thought about, that he's like, hey, this would be a good guy for this locker room. Then we can move on from everybody's favorite player, Alec Burks. Maybe that's the case. That I don't know.
I can understand everything you said, and I'm happy we got a better coach. I'm not upset about it, but am I excited either? No. Let's build a team around, because your guy, I forget the guy with his name, but he said it first, like we got to get some players, man, or he's going to be another coach that, oh boy, he got us 5 more wins this season because he's a better coach. He made it to 27 wins this year. Oh boy, what a great hire that was. And in 5 years, they're going to do the same thing. Well, we didn't really get you no help, but you didn't make us that much better, so we're going to have to let you go too. We've done that with a ton of coaches. Hey, let's get some players. Now, maybe Monty can get those players that we couldn't get in free agency, but because he isn't the coach that people want to play for. So that's the good stuff. And a lot of that falls on the GM too. Like, that's the guy pulling the real pieces of, I know he collaborates with the coach, but the GM's going to get you the pieces. The coach kind of pushes them on the board, right? Like, the GM gets you pieces, and then the coach controls them for you. So they got to get together and build a team. Maybe, and I hope, because I'm a fan. I'm a Detroit sports fan across the board. I hope that we can use this to give some better players. Some people will want to come play for this coach and make it a destination where we can give some good free agents, draft properly, and build something for the future. Because I'm tired of stinking here.
Oh, I get it. I'm tired of stinking as well. But I'll tell you what, I'd much rather have Monty Williams and Kevin Ollie. And I don't even know, from yesterday's conversation, I have nothing to point to Kevin Ollie and say he's a bad coach because X, Y, or Z, right? I didn't understand why people didn't want him, because it's like, okay, well, I mean, he won in college. Well, he only won with these guys. Well, as James Edwards said, well, you're only going to win with Troy Weaver's guys. So, but I would much rather have somebody who's been able to, be an NBA Coach of the Year, be able to show that he can take a program and win with it. Like, we'll see. But yeah, at the end of the day, the NBA is a players' league. There's only 5 guys on the floor at one time. Like, it's a make or miss league. You got to have guys out there that are professional basketball players that can make shots, because that's what it boils down to.
We got to remember, we just had an NBA championship coach, right? We had the basketball.
No, he couldn't get it done. Dwayne Casey never got it done. Nick Nurse had to win. He got Wally Pipp there.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. But he won with the lead, so yeah, we did. Yeah, I thought we had. Yeah, you're right. Still, let's see what happens, man, guys. I love this show. Thank you for letting me talk so long.
Oh, yeah.
Talk to you guys soon. Hey, I'm on my way into Mentality Health right now. On my way to my second appointment.
There you go, man. Get the tea. Got to get the tea going, Dale.
That's right, baby.
All right, bulk up.
Yeah, 47.
Eat a steak. I want you to look like the American Gladiators documentary I just watched a little bit of on television.
All right, guys. Have a good morning, man.
All right, Dale. We'll see you, partner. Let's get to Greg over in Maumee. Greg, good morning to you, my friend. How are you?
Good, Anthony. How are you this morning?
I mean, fantastic. Happy Thursday to you.
Good. I'm calling in as a follow-up to last evening's Evening with Peyton Manning to benefit the Dana Open last night.
Yeah.
That was a phenomenal event. He was outstanding. He was funny. He was persuasive. He was enlightening. And more importantly, the place sold out.
That's what it's all about, right? I mean, you want to have as many butts and seats as possible, and I'm so happy that Peyton was able to draw such a good crowd for the Dana Open, for that golf tournament in Toledo. You know, they had a little bit of a sponsorship, title sponsor kind of kerfluffle, and things were breaking down a little bit. Dana hopped back on for another year, so I think that's it's a great move to be able to keep a wonderful weekend here in Toledo. That much is for sure.
Yes. He was. We just had an enjoyable evening. Saw so many friends at that event. It was, as you know, the Stranahan's wonderful, and I hope they continue to bring in individuals like that in the future, and I'll sign on because, we need to laugh in this world. And Henry Cho was a comedian that warmed up the crowd and asked him questions, and he would be serious in a question about leadership or dedication, and then he'd sneak one in about his brother, and we'd get a laugh about it. And the one line that I'll always remember was he said when he signed his first contract and signing bonus and all this, a reporter asked him, what are you going to do with the money? And I think the reporter thought, well, I'm going to buy a car or a boat or go to Europe, whatever. And his response was, I'm going to earn it.
Ooh, I like that a lot, Greg. I like that a lot.
I'm going to earn it. So I'll always remember that comment from last night. I wanted to report in this morning that kudos to Judd Silverman. David Briggs has a wonderful article about last night's event in Toledo Blade. I recommend you and your listeners read that. It'll give you a feel for what last night was all about. But I wanted to call in and share good news about the Peyton Manning event.
Well, thank you very much, Greg. We got to hit the break, but it's so great to hear your voice. Thanks for calling in this morning. We'll be right back with more X's and Bros after this here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Hey, this is Matt Shepard from the Michigan Sports Network. I love summers in Michigan because it means golf season. Now, two things always when I go golfing. I make sure I got my sticks, and I've got plenty of cold, fresh Labatt Blue Light. Whether I've just squeezed in 18 holes or I just want to relax on the patio after a long day, everywhere I go, and I'm serious when I tell you this, I tell people about the smooth, genuine taste of Labatt Blue Light. It's just a great beer. Michigan Sports Network is giving you a chance to win a foursome to Michigan's best courses. Just listen weekdays to The Huge Show and X's and Bros, or just text GOLF to 21,000 to enter. That's GOLF to 21,000. The trip includes 2 overnight stays and 2 rounds of golf, all brought to you by my friends at Labatt Blue Light. So grab a Labatt Blue Light the next time you head out onto the course and enjoy the blue skies, because blue is for Michigan summers and great times. Always enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2023 Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York. All rights reserved. Labatt is a registered U.S. trademark of Labatt Brewing Company, Ltd.
Share your thoughts all morning long on the Meyer Guest Line. Call 248-951-2176. That's 248-951-2176. Now, back to Danny, Ryan, and AB.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you riding along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio as well. And worldwide on the iHeartRadio app. You can just search Fox Sports 1230 or 96.1 The Game. You can put us right in your pocket, take us with you wherever you may be. Hey, folks, the DraftKings Sportsbook has a DraftKings Casino app as well. Did you know that? You can play the classics like Blackjack, Roulette, and Slots, plus everyone can enjoy exclusive games you can't find anywhere else. Right now, new customers who deposit at least $5 can get a match on their first deposit and score up to $2,000 in casino bonus funds. All you have to do is sign up, select the offer of your choice, and start playing from a full suite of games. Your way is the only way to play on DraftKings Casino. Play online on your time or in your space and within your means. It's safe, secure, and reliable, so you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you are ready. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Sign in using the promo code HUGE and get a match on your first deposit of $5 or more. Up to $2,000 in casino bonus funds. Only at DraftKings Casino. Only using the promo code HUGE. Now, if you or somebody knows a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline. 800-270-7117. 21 plus, Michigan only. One per opted-in customer. Minimum $5 deposit. Maximum $2,000 match. Deposit and bonus amounts require 15 times playthrough within 30 days. See terms at casino.draftkings.com/players choice. Restrictions do apply. As we welcome you back here to the program. My goodness, that's a wild disclaimer right there. It is hour 2 at segment 2, which means it's time for little Detroit Lions trivia. Trivia question today. True or false? If you had a 50,000-pound front-end loader run over your foot, you have worse things on your hands than your boots.
True.
True. Here's our trivia question. Entering 2021, how many individual 1,000-yard receiving seasons have there been in Lions history?
We knew that first one was, what, 1970-something? 1960? What did they say that was?
49.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it was Bob
Man.
Bob Man.
It was Bob Man.
Bob Man.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sold that was his name. Like, I think he was just the equipment manager. They're like, who's that out there? It's like, that's Bob Man.
Is Bob here? Hey, like somebody gets injured, and it's back in the day, so you just have to go out there and figure it out.
I'm going to say 26.
I will say, I'll do the jerk Price is Right thing. 27.
26 and 27, which aren't bad guesses because it is obtusely low, in my opinion, for a team that's been around since the beginning of time. And that was entering 2021. We did have a receiver in 2022 in Amon-Ra St. Brown go for 1,100 yards. So entering 2021, there were 33 individual 1,000-yard seasons. So 33 is the answer. Make it 34 with Amon-Ra St. Brown. And I thought you guys were both pretty much on par there, going low.
Say 34 was one of my guesses, or I was going to go a little higher and say like 48 or something.
It's not an easy task.
No, because when you have to go back that far, but then you're like, all right, not every season there's going to be a 1,000-yard receiver. A couple seasons there might be 2. Like,
what do we do?
Right.
Yeah. Then you get a run like you get one guy like Calvin who could do it just about every year. So my goodness. A couple of text messages here. Tigers will be 500 by Monday. Yeah, hopefully they complete the sweep. That'd be great, and definitely. Things would be looking up for this team considering the difficulty of their schedule. So we'll see what they can do this weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Obviously off tonight. Ask DeAndre Ayton how much he respected Monty and what he went through as a human. DeAndre cried and told him, I'm not going back into the... There's another one. I was wrong on DeAndre Ayton. But it didn't matter because we didn't need to get him because we drafted Jalen Duren. So we got ourselves an athletic 7-footer. So my desire for an actual big man that can move, that on the menu was already ordered by the GM. So it does, like the DeAndre Ayton saga, like I said, that says more about him than it does about the coach. Plain and simple. So, do you not like Imani's going to turn Killian into an all-star? God, I hope so. That would be something, wouldn't it?
I saw some wonderful cherry-picking stats. I think it was last week of Killian Hayes.
Oh, really?
For some reason, I didn't send him to you, or maybe I did, or it got buried. But it was just Killian Hayes, like age 21 season as a starter versus Jason Kidd's age 21 season as a starter, and how they're very similar.
I hope he does become Jason Kidd. But the problem is they drafted another point guard right after him. And look, folks, he doesn't have to play more than 20 minutes a night.
Say, if he can be the backup point guard to this team, great.
That could be great. He's just not a scorer.
Because then that's less looking you have to do.
Dude, we might have the we got the bench guy already on our bench. But we drafted a guy 7th overall to be a starting point guard. He ain't it. They go back and draft another guy who's much bigger, who's going to play point guard. Like, great. His role is to the bench.
Well, welcome to the NBA draft where
everybody's a point guard.
Everybody's a point guard. It feels like if you're outside of the top 4, then you're flipping a coin.
And that's where the Pistons find themselves.
Because look at the Pistons at number 5 right now, where we're like, there's no one good outside of the top 3. Right? There's gonna be 2 or 3 All-Stars that are drafted outside of 4 through the lottery, because that does happen every year. It's just it's not a surefire bet. Where it seems like the NFL draft, you kind of know what you're getting because hey, they have a longer body of work in collegiate sports, so you know the prospect a lot better. But the NBA draft, it's a crapshoot.
It is. Like, you got guys that are drafted in the lottery, guys that are drafted late.
Guys drafted during Taco Bell commercials.
Yeah, who knows who's going to draft the next Nikola Jokic? Like,
well, Miami did in Nikola Jovic.
Right? Yeah, Jovic and Jokic. I
know
okay,
Jovan. Yeah, but who's got the patience for that? Because
NBA team.
Because guess what? Michael Malone has been the coach for 8 years. People, he just got the job done,
and the job's not even finished. They just had to get there. It's not easy, man. And that's the thing. Like, oh, this guy, they didn't win. They didn't win, dude. Only one team wins every year. There's 30 teams in the league. You got a 1 in 30 shot of doing it. A 1 in 30 shot with a roster that is improved, but still not great. It's still not great. I mean, if they add Cam Whitmore out of Villanova, and you have him, Bogey, Jaden Ivey, Jalen Duren, and Cade Cunningham, I think that's a pretty competitive starting 5. But it's void of some legitimate shooting. And then you start to look at, you have good front court depth right now between, Marvin Bagley. I like Bagley. I know a lot of people don't, but I like him. Beef Stew, undersized, should be at the 4. Maybe trying to stretch a little bit, add a little bit of a range to his game. Then who's going to be your backup 3? I don't know if it's Isaiah Livers, can't stay healthy. Didn't shoot it real great, so they've got some holes to fill. But it does take time, and I think it's a good day. It's a good day for celebration. We're going to step aside when we return. Nick Saban apparently listens to the show. We'll let you know why next here. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
For a lot of us, music and mental health are intertwined. That's why the Collaborative Lab created In Tune, a free live stream event, and you're invited. May 18th is Mental Health Action Day, so take action for your own mental health by joining us from 7 to 9 p.m. musical performances, and conversations with the Verve Pipe, Barrel Bones, Carlos Sese, Cole Hansen, and more. Visit IUnderstandLoveHeals.org to learn how you can join the party for free.
Huge here for my good friend Tom Rosenbach and his team at Bean Carter. They're one of America's top accounting and business firms. They're based in downtown Grand Rapids, and now they're stronger than ever before with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew. Now, Dorn Mayhew is an east side firm. Now you get the west side of Michigan with Bean Carter, and whether you're a small business or big business, they can handle all of your accounting and business needs at Bean Carter. Just go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I mentioned with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew, they cover all of Michigan, the Midwest, and coast to coast. Find out how the pros at Bean Carter can help your business today. Go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I know Tom Rosenbach and his team are so happy about their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew.
If you or your family is touched by autism, learn more about Freddy's Foundation at #PopTheTap at FreddyThePizzaman.com. That's FREDI, thepizzaman.com, or email FreddyThePizzaman@gmail.com.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you ride along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide here on the iHeartRadio app. It's streaming on our YouTube page at Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you riding along with us. We're going to step away from the Monty Williams discussion for a brief moment. By the way, we had a
we're going to do golf hypotheticals for the next 45 minutes.
No, it's a no, I'm not gonna do that. But I did see this article that came about because Nick Saban was speaking, and I feel very strongly about this point because we can't live in a world where you just get to do whatever you want. Like, there's got to be some rules, there's got to be some guidelines. For a plethora of reasons, and one of which is because this place ain't utopia, basically. I can't just walk into your house and take whatever I want, right? There's a rule against that because that's not right. And we should all know the difference between right and wrong, but we live in a very strange era right now where everyone's like, oh, no, we really can't do anything. It's like, well, what are we going to do? Everyone's real hands-off because they don't want to offend anybody. But there's right and there's wrong. And the basic rights and wrongs are pretty, you should be able to understand that. As long as you have a functioning brain. And every once in a while, it's an idea that I stand behind pretty firmly too. And I know that it changes the dynamic of college sports. And it's something that we've talked about a lot on this show because I feel like it's the only right way to do this, to try to make it fair in something that is already an uneven arms race. And that is Alabama's head coach, Nick Saban, who's obviously listening to the show, probably on the iHeartRadio app. He discussed this idea of unionizing to level the playing field when it comes to this fraudulent name, image, and likeness, which isn't even real. The fact that we have to even call it NIL is insulting to our intelligence. We shouldn't be up here sitting here.
For a few athletes, it actually is. For the other
majority,
I'll say
it is
97%, it's pay for play.
Yeah, it's not name, image, and likeness. You could disguise it and try to powder it up and put perfume on a pig all you want. We know what it is. And I think it's insulting to us that we call this NIL. It's not.
We did it so Johnny Manziel wasn't getting in trouble for signing autographs and charging money for it. That is so your college athletes could be on billboards and be in local car commercials. And that could supplement, hopefully, hopefully we can take the boosters out of the situation. And once they get on campus, they can be compensated as an athlete for who they are. Instead, it turns into, hey, the 17-year-old five-star wants $2 million. Who's going to pony up the money?
Yep, that's exactly it. And Nick Saban agrees with my sentiment.
I just think that, I have no problem with that. I mean, unionize it, make it like the NFL. I mean, if it's going to be the same for everyone, I think that's better than what we have now, because what we have now is we have some states and some schools in some states that are investing a lot more money.
That's coming from one of the greatest college football coach of all time. You think there's disparity in college football right now, there's going to be a lot more in the future. This is coming from a guy that, he doesn't need to speak on this. He's fine. He's getting his money. I look at this and I'm like, it only makes sense. And I get what it means if they unionize. And Jimbo Fisher said that's a whole can of worms right there. Different complexities. That's why they're going through now, explaining all the different things to us about everybody's opinion. We're still gathering information. They're explaining it to us, and they're going to continue to do it while the meetings are going on. Now, Nick Saban did say in his address to the media, he phrased it very interesting, because this is a guy, by the way, that's making $10 million a year, right? So it's not as if he's not, getting his, right? And that's the whole thing is that these college coaches make so much money. What about the players, right? And he said, quote, I think it's a big mistake that people make in college athletics is it's not a business. People say it's a business. It's not a business. It's revenue producing. When I was the coach of the Miami Dolphins, that was a business. And the owner took the profit with the money that he made. He made a huge investment. That doesn't happen in college athletics. And it's like, oh, well, that's kind of interesting. Well, why wouldn't that happen in college athletics? Because we see coaches making this money.
See, that is just such...
Hold on. We reinvest every cent that gets made into non-revenue sports, to scholarships, to a lot of things. Why does this thing keep popping up in front of my screen so that I can't tell you what is supposed to be said by Nick Saban here? To create a lot of opportunity for a lot of people, which is really, really good. So we're not talking about the same thing. It's not really a business. It's revenue producing. And nobody takes a profit. All that money gets reinvested into other opportunities for other people, whether it's facilities, scholarships, opportunities for people to play. Alabama's athletic department recorded revenue of $214.4 million in 2022. Their total expense was $195.9 million.
Dude, Nick Saban, just quit lying to us. Just college football is not a business, really. Nick, you don't have any investments in any of the companies that invest into Alabama football? You're telling me you're not making any money so that when blah, blah, blah starts or, has your radio show, you're not making any money off of that because you're not an investor in that company. Yeah. Ridiculous.
The radio show is probably probably a part of his contractual agreement that he has to do.
I guarantee you, as part of that, they said, "Oh, Nick, here's a 3% stake in our company."
You think if iHeart held the rights to?
I'm not talking about iHeart. I'm talking about whatever local insurance company wants to sponsor Nick Saban's radio show every week. That type of stuff.
You think that Pizza House? You think Juwan Howard has a stake in Pizza House? In Ann Arbor.
Would it surprise anybody?
For doing a radio show?
Anthony, I'm not. I'm giving you examples. I'm saying like a company that gives the team $100,000 for uniforms every year. Nick, the coaches are getting a kickback from that stuff. It's ridiculous to think that they're not.
Right. I mean, he makes almost $11 million a year.
He's talking like the kids shouldn't make money while he's making a salary plus who knows what otherwise.
So I don't see it like that with what he's saying. He's taking the athletic department, like the budget. So the Alabama effectively made $20 million last year in profit, 214 in revenue, 195 in expenses. Where does that money go? That $20 million, where does that go? Does that go into the facilities? Like there's a good question. Where does that $20 million go? Now, when asked about the paying players and using them, because the whole thing for the players has been we're employees. That's the whole premise of the argument for the players is that we are employees. Well, here's an interesting thing that has come up, and it has come up multiple occasions. You know what? I'm a college athlete. I just don't want to play anymore. But you know what I want? My scholarship. So you now know what? But I'm not physically injured. But there is something else I can say that no one can touch, and you can't prove it. You know what they call that? Keeps me on scholarship. All I have to do is get the note from the doctor. And my education continues to get paid for while I do not perform for said college. And it is happening. What do? What happens when a player gets hurt?
You do what every other kid on campus tries to do. You try to get hit by the campus bus.
No, they just say mental health. That's what it is. And there's no refuting the claim. You can't argue it. It just is what it is. So if they use mental health, stamp it. They stay on scholarship. You don't have to go to practice anymore. You don't have to play. You're not even on the team. But they have to honor the scholarship. How messed up is that? Who's paying for that? What happens when that happens in a MAC school? Then what? We're not talking about revenues of $200 million plus. So Saban said, unionize it. Make it like the NFL. I mean, if it's going to be the same for everyone, I think that's better than what we have now. Because what we have now in some states, in some schools, in some states are investing a lot more money in terms of managing their roster than others. And I think this is going to create a real competitive disadvantage for some in the future. And it's also going to create an imbalance in the competitive nature of the sport, which is not good. Everything they do in the NFL is to create what? Parity. And if they could have every team going into the 17th week at 8-8, that would be a dream for the NFL. Well, you think there's disparity in college football right now, there's going to be a lot more of it in the future. He's hitting the nail on the head. And it's something that I've said for the longest time. Unionize it, man.
Yeah, but with unions, guess what? You get to negotiate.
Yeah.
So the people, they're going to negotiate. Well, guess, I only have to go to class. I only have to complete 3 credit hours to be on the team.
I don't think they would get that to pass. I don't think that's a good faith argument there. Like, you're not even a full-time student. 12 credit hours it's considered full-time, but that's because they want you there for the 5th year. You should definitely take more than 12 credit hours. Come on, you could take 18 with ease. Don't give me that. You could take summer classes as well. So I don't think that 3 credit hours, maybe it's the hours that they can, quote-unquote, be at practice, right? You get, 20 hours of practice a week or something like that? You have to have, so many days off. Are you going to have your OTAs and your non-contact, non-padded practices? Would that be in it? Like, it's something, like, all of that would be negotiated, of course. Who's got the insurance? What happens when you blow your knee out? School's been paying for that for years. Oh, we'd love to shake that bill. How much of that $195 million in expenses to repair people's ankles and knees? Get rid of that. Who's going to insure you guys? There's a good question. How much are you going to pay for that a month? What about your school? Like, are you still on scholarship? Do they factor in the cost of tuition into this model? Because everyone's like, well, it's not fair. I need to get mine. You've been getting yours. It just came in a different form. It just came in walking out of school debt-free with an education. If you don't value that, then that's on you. That's totally fine. If you want the $100,000 in cash over the degree, if you're not going to pay attention in school, those are your choices. Those are your personal choices. You can be stupid. Be stupid all you want. What do I care? Just try not to end up sucking more money out of the government. But all these people that want everything for free all the time, that's not how the world works. Like, you're going to have to make concessions. It's going to have to happen. Like, the school, the boosters, they cannot continue to foot the bill for literally everything. And on top of that, have stipend checks and all this, that. And it's like, dude, you guys have been getting free food, free gear, free school for how long? It wasn't enough. Now you want to be paid. Well, if you're going to be paid, then unionize. And it's going to affect the rest of the sports, because I'm telling you what, it takes a lot of money to send a softball team to California for 3 weeks. Because you want to know what they don't do in February here in the great state of Michigan? They don't play baseball or softball. You know where they go? South and west. And that ain't cheap. See you later. Golf? What do you think it costs for these teams to go play golf? I love golf. That's probably going to be a cut. Swimming? How much does it take to keep the pool open? And all of these non-revenue earning sports are all
how much is it
being funded by football and basketball.
How much does it cost to keep the U of M golf course open, Anthony? A lot more than that pool, my friend.
Well, yeah, but the U of M golf course is open to the public, so that's its own separate entity. Like, that's not. It's like any other golf course. That ain't hard. You charging people $50 to hop in the pool? I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know. I've been in the Nauditorium once, but I don't know if it's open to the public, if you can buy a membership to it. I don't know how they function. What about field hockey? How many people's that drawing off of State Street? What are you going to do with that field hockey? Who's paying for that? Yeah, at the end of the day, if this is the model we want to go to, where everybody wants to get paid for everything that they do, and it's going to trickle down into high school. It's going to happen. You'll start to see it. People have complained about, recruiting in high school and, the private schools versus the public schools and school of choice. And it's a debacle across the board, because everybody wants to squeeze every little bit of juice that they can. What do you do with that little, I don't even know how old the kid is, 11, maybe 12 years old, that little super freak athlete that's probably, I don't think he's down in Florida. I don't know, kid's like built like a truck at 11 years old, runs faster than everybody. Like, he's already got an offer, I think, from Alabama. Is he eligible for name, image, and likeness? Can he get a sponsorship deal done with Nike and post him wearing some Nike shoes and get paid for that as a 12-year-old?
No. Because you still have amateur status in high school sports, not in college. You can't,
that's going to change.
There's all kinds of stuff.
That is going to change. 100% that's going to change. You want to know why?
Like,
it just changed in college. And Ohio and Pennsylvania are already looking at NIL in high school sports. It's going to happen. Football's too big. It's too big, and guess what? All those $5 and $10 tickets you bought at the gate to get into the field on a Friday night, where's that money going? Right? Like all of this is a product of where we're at as a society, where we need everything we need it all right now, and if I don't get it, it's not fair. And that's just the way that's where we find ourselves here in 2023.
You could, if you choose not to play high school athletics, you absolutely could get a sponsorship deal. Like my buddy's cousin, she's a 16-year-old golfer. She's the number one amateur in the state. She has a deal with Nike. But yeah, she's going to be a professional.
So she doesn't play high school golf?
I don't believe so. She plays all the high-profile amateur tournaments in the state.
Interesting.
I don't believe she does. Not that I've ever heard of. Her name's Sophie Stevens. You'll see her around.
Wouldn't that wouldn't that go back to what you were just saying about sacrificing your amateur status?
Right. Yeah. I think.
So then you wouldn't be able to compete.
I'm assuming she did.
Yeah. If the money's there, yeah, absolutely. Do it. Golf season's here. Matt Gold and his team ready to welcome you to one of the best experiences in the great state of Michigan. Tullymore Golf Resort in Canadian Lakes offers not one but two championship courses. Tullymore and St. Ives, located about an hour north of Grand Rapids, 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant. What you need to do is visit TullymoreGolf.com, TullymoreGolf.com, or call 1-800-972-4837, 1-800-972-4837. Book your stay and play at Tullymore today. Hour 3 is next. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
In the Den with Dan Dickerson.
Step up to the plate at Eagle Casino and Sports, the mobile sportsbook app that you can bet on all your favorites all year round, including, of course, our national pastime. So download the app and start winning today at Eagle Casino and Sport. Made in Michigan, made for Michigan. Must be 21 years or older and in Michigan to play. The Tigers' outfield defense is the best in baseball at turning balls hit in the air into outs. But what we're watching goes far beyond the numbers. It's Matt Vierling working on his first step and his routes and becoming one of the best right fielders in the game. It's Akil Badu in left, working hard on the shallow pop-up from a lefty, learning to run to his spot and maintain his speed the entire route. It's Riley Green, the glue guy, who makes it all work with his constant communication, constant movement, always being in the right spot. So much credit goes to coaches Gary Jones and George Lombard. Their system is so thorough, the players like it so much. As Gary Jones said, now the players are coming to us every day, ready to work.
Shop everything you need for Memorial Day with one stop at Meijer. Get buy one, get one free 80% lean ground beef. Buy 5, save $5 on...
Imagine this, winning big at Soaring Eagle. Spin the money wheel and win up to $100,000 cash. Every Saturday in April from 5 to 11 p.m. One winner each hour will spin for the win and take home up to $100,000. Whirl in for $100,000 Money Wheel. Only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
Huge here for my good friend Tom Rosenbach and his team at Bean Carter. They're one of America's top accounting and business firms. They're based in downtown Grand Rapids, and now they're stronger than ever before with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew. Now, Dorn Mayhew is an east side firm. Now you get the west side of Michigan with Bean Carter, and whether you're a small business or big business, they can handle all of your accounting and business needs at Bean Carter. Just go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I mentioned with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew, they cover all of Michigan, the Midwest, and coast to coast. Find out how the pros at Bean Carter can help your business today. Go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I know Tom Rosenbach and his team are so happy about their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew.
If you or your family is touched by autism, learn more about Freddy's Foundation at #PopTheTap at FreddyThePizzaman.com. That's FREDI, thepizzaman.com, or email FreddyThePizzaman@gmail.com.
Good morning, everyone.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It's a good morning. Wake up to a brand new day.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Vietnam.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Welcome back here. Hour number 3 on this Thursday. It is the first day of the month, June 1st, 2023. Great to have you ride along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide on the iHeartRadio app. You can text the keyword sports radio, send that to 21,000. You can call us on the Meyer Supercenter guest line, 248-951-2176, 248-951-2176. We're on Twitter at XB Mornings, Facebook, X's and Bros, and of course, good morning to our television audience on BCSN and streaming live on our YouTube page at Michigan Sports Network. Got a couple of phone calls. Who's up first, Dan?
Scott is up first.
All right, USDA Scott, what's going on, my friend? How are you this morning?
Hey, good. Hey, I want to talk the Pistons and Tigers mainly, but on the NIL thing, I got an argument on national radio about 4 years ago with Jay Billis was on this network, and I said if they don't have caps and they don't have rules and they don't have the way they don't have the figuration of how the money is spread and everything, I said if everything like that, I think the players deserve to get paid. That's fine, but to everything there has to be regulations and rules, and they went into this thing without anybody knowing where any of it's going. And yes, I don't know which of the guys are saying it, but yeah, I think that the big time coaches like a Nick Saban, like Jim Harbaugh, like Urban Meyer, all of those people, I think they get extras that are not in contract. But truthfully, it's a breach of contract if they get any money other than what's in their contract because they're making it because they're at that school. So, but the rules.
But the players do as well.
Huh?
The players do and have been forever. There's benefits that aren't listed out on a sheet of paper that they sign or agree to just by walking on campus. If you go to Michigan State as a freshman, let's say, and you're going to be on the basketball team and you're coming in as a 4 or 5 star, let me tell you, folks, the opportunities you're going to have that aren't anywhere to be seen, that can't be documented, are going to be endless for you, young fella. Let me tell you.
I went down and played. I went to high school with Lloyd Vaught. I went down and played with the Michigan guys at one time, or twice at night. And Lloyd was driving a different car both times, and so was Glenn. So yeah, no, I know there's benefits for everybody. There has been forever, but. Let me get to the Tiger and analysis on the Piston and Tiger thing. And I really do like the signing of Monty. I think he's a no-nonsense coach, which is something that we need. And probably the best hire out there. The myth and the thought. There's only so many teams. Very few teams, the Lakers, the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Cowboys, they don't ever rebuild. They buy. And there aren't that everybody, almost every other team goes through a rebuild at some time. And there's two types of rebuilds. Well, one rebuild is we build through the draft and we take the chance on young players. And the other way is buying a team. Now, as an avid fan or even a marginal fan, what are you more accepting of if it fails? You're more accepting of the
drafting
draft.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So in the draft, and That's why a lot of these coaches, GMs and owners, they're like, well, our fans will be satisfied if we go this way and we don't have to spend all that money. They won't be as upset. The difference is when you flip the switch. The Lions flipped the switch this year. That's why this is the most exciting time for the Lions, is because they built through the draft like they needed to, and now they're going out and getting players. And
the draft has got to be your actual cake. The free agency can be the icing.
That's right. So if the Pistons with the new hire, if that's a sign that they're willing to pay that coach, and that's a sign that 3 years from now they might be able to pull. I'm not. What's the kid from Dallas' name that's going to be out there in another 2 years? Goodness, the really good player in Dallas, Luka. Right?
I'm sorry. What about Luka?
I'm saying, if that's the path that they go and they have a lot of money to spend in 2 years and they can pull a Luka Doncic up there, then they're showing you something, and they're showing me something by paying. I feel the opposite way. If he's willing to, if they're willing to start paying for talent, then they're taking this step. They're taking a step in the right direction. So I'll give it a pass on whatever they're paying the coach.
Yeah, I like, if they have the money in a couple of years, I'm not going to be out here all spending willy-nilly this offseason, because I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze in this free agency class. Outside of a guy like bringing Jeremy Grant back, I would be on board with that, because you're not bringing him back as the feature. He knows, coming in, that this is about the young guys, and he's just got to be a good wing defender, knock down some shots, like nothing crazy. So I would be good with Jeremy Grant coming back. I don't see a whole lot else out of this class that I'm willing to spend on. And in a couple of years, if there's a big name free agent in this team, if you have Cade and Jaden and Jalen that are all like cemented in, we know for sure that these three guys are the future moving forward. All three of them have proven themselves. Then I think that you could start to add via the free agency and say, you know what? Yeah, no, we've got our solid core. We can spend big if a valuable player is out there that might be worth bringing in to a situation like this that they might be interested in.
That's the whole point about this year is, Monty's got a year. We have to find out. I mean, when all the youngsters get on the floor at the same time, and don't discount the number 5 pick. Yeah, it sucked that we got number 5, but it's going to be a quality player. So
we hope.
Well,
we hope. There's Killian Hayes out there, and everybody, Scott. It's going to take some time. It might take some time. Hey, Scott, we appreciate the call this morning, my friend. There he goes. I know Freddie's on hold. He wants to talk about Saban. Do we want to call Freddie back just so he can have some more time, because we're right up against it.
Yeah, he can wait.
Okay, all right. So, Freddie, will you give us a call back? I don't want to give you 20 seconds. That ain't going to do it. But you know what is going to do it? Booking your stay and play at the beautiful Tullymore Golf Resort in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, offering not one but 2 championship courses, Tullymore and St. Ives. Located about an hour north of Grand Rapids, 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant, Tullymore not only features top-of-line golf, but also top-of-line accommodations and the perfect space for wedding, event, reception, or group outing. Visit TullymoreGolf.com, TullymoreGolf.com, or call 1-800-972-4837. That's 1-800-972-4837. Book your stay and play at Tullymore today. So when we return, NBC released some schedules. What do we think about that? Boy, Michigan State, they really fell on the axe, didn't they? Holy mackerel. I guess I probably should have said fell on the sword, but my God. Look, I'm not a Spartan fan, but I feel bad for Spartan fans. And then I'm talking about this to Ryan and Dan, and next thing you know, I see Michigan gets hit with a Peacock game. Dude, nobody wants to pay for a subscription. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to have to go to some app to watch something that's going to be delayed when your internet has to buffer. Why do they keep forcing this on us? We'll get to it next here. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Have you ever played golf at Tullymore, St. Ives? Have you experienced a stay-and-play package in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, less than an hour north of Grand Rapids? Well, here's what you need to do if you want to take advantage of great deals right now. Go to TullymoreGolf.com. That's TullymoreGolf.com, and you'll see the link for packages, accommodations, dining, meetings, weddings, events, and so much more, and especially golf on the 18-hole layout at Tullymore and the 18 holes at St. Ives. And they can accommodate any group, whether it's 2 people getting together or 200 looking for a weekend or an overnight celebration. That includes a little business, golf, great food, and beverages. Just go to TullymoreGolf.com. That's TullymoreGolf.com. They're located in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, less than an hour north of GR. Get more info at TullymoreGolf.com.
Hey, this is Matt Shepard from the Michigan Sports Network. I love summers in Michigan because it means golf season. Now, 2 things always when I go golfing. I make sure I got my sticks, and I've got plenty of cold, fresh Labatt Blue Light. Whether I've just squeezed in 18 holes or I just want to relax on the patio after a long day, everywhere I go, and I'm serious when I tell you this, I tell people about the smooth, genuine taste of Labatt Blue Light. It's just a great beer. Michigan Sports Network is giving you a chance to win a foursome to Michigan's best courses. Just listen weekdays to The Huge Show and X's and Bros, or just text GOLF to 21,000 to enter. That's GOLF to 21,000. The trip includes 2 overnight stays and 2 rounds of golf, all brought to you by my friends at Labatt Blue Light. So grab a Labatt Blue Light the next time you head out onto the course and enjoy the blue skies, because blue is for Michigan summers and great times. Always enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2023 Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York. All rights reserved. Labatt is a registered U.S. trademark of Labatt Brewing Company, Ltd.
is X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Big thanks to New York Scott. I might say my CLM to myself 3 times a day right now, especially on Twitter. I mean, it's back and forth I'm having with this guy. Dude, it's so frustrating because I can't say what I really want to say. And what he said to me, like, I want to snap on him, but you can't say anything.
Yeah, and if you even, like, go in their DMs and say it in there, then they're just going to screenshot it.
Yeah, I mean, look, just be an adult. Right? We're arguing right now. There's an area of Columbus called Short North where they, was a nice bar area, right? Good for the nightlife scene. And they've had multiple shootings now in the last couple of weeks. So the Columbus PD decided to crack down. I got a couple friends that live in the area. They've been talking about it. And on May 19th and May 20th, a Friday and Saturday, they wrote 224 parking traffic citations. They had 31 misdemeanor summons, 1 juvenile arrest, 4 misdemeanor arrests, 7 felony arrests, 8 arrests on warrants, 7 firearms recovered, 4 incidents of drugs seized, 297 parking citations, and 107 vehicles impounded. And the quote tweet of that was that Short North has a rash of shootings, so they obviously have a much higher police presence than normal. Writing traffic and parking tickets, they're not protecting people, they're not preventing crimes, they're generating revenue. Like, what? How do you read that chart and that's what you come away with? And so this guy sends a picture of the guy dressed up as he's got police written across his shirt, this Chris Peace guy. And I can't describe the rest of the photo to you, but basically, not sure how to describe it over. Anyways, whatever. And I just said, so you're one of those. Like, you can't run around and do whatever you want. Like, it's not. People are so. I don't know. Is Freddie still there?
He is.
Let's talk about Nick Saban. Good morning, Freddie. How are you?
Yeah, I've been here since 7:52. I'm here.
Well, tell Dan to put you in the front of the line. I don't know why Dan's trying to hold you down like that.
Dan was on fire today. I'll be honest with you, because he checks you all the time. He comes with facts. He does his homework. I mean, nobody does their homework more than Dan. But before the break, I heard Dan say, "Oh yeah, he can wait." Really? All right, I get it, Dan.
Well, did you want 45 seconds to talk, Freddie?
That's not, Dan. That's not how you said it. You said, "Oh, he can wait." Who's he? He can wait. I get it. Don't worry about it. It's all right. Ryan, you'll get your pizza faster than Dan will next time. I promise you that. I promise you that. Love you, Dan. Love you, Dan. Hey, how you doing, Anthony?
I'm great, Freddie. How are you?
Can you have a little fun? God, don't be mad because Dan does more homework than you. Don't be mad. So, I want to talk a little bit about Nick Saban. But first of all, you said something about players not valuing the college education. I'm with you on that. But you know who had it right all along? Santino from The Godfather. Remember when he said, "Hey, did you go to college to be stupid?" Santino had it right. He had it right. They don't value the college education. They go to college to be stupid. Agree?
To some, yeah. To some, I would agree with that. I think that there is, it's all in what you want out of the experience because, everybody believes because they've been told the whole time how great they are. They all believe they're going to the NFL, right? They all believe they're going to the NBA, and that's just not the case. And if you don't value it, that's on you. But to walk out of college debt-free is such an incredible head start, but nobody, you can't explain things to people that don't understand, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Like there are certain conversations I'll have with even some of my close acquaintances or friends or whatever you want to call them. They just don't understand money. They don't understand how it works. And, you start to try to have conversations. They can't see the forest from the trees. They make $100, they're going to spend $150, right? It's just like they don't get it. And it doesn't matter how many times you try to explain it, they're never going to understand it. So some things you just like, whatever, just do whatever you want. What do I care? I'm not even trying to help. I'm just speaking in general terms here.
So So my thing is not really Nick Saban per se, but it's NIL. I'm just curious on what you thought about this. Now, you see guys like Blake Corum, Arch Manning get a ton of money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Individual players get a ton of money. Blake Corum is actually playing. Arch Manning is not. He's not in college, right? He's not playing right now, right? Has he even enrolled at Texas?
Yeah, no, Arch is at Texas, and he looked terrible in their spring game, according to reports.
Okay, so here's my thing is, Scott from the Stake Land, he was right. I mean, they came up with this plan, but they didn't put anything together. I always felt like instead of giving these players individual money, why don't they have rules and regulations where if you want to invest in the program, per se, they give the money to the athletic program, to say Michigan State, you name the college, and that money gets dispersed equally versus all the players in the athletic department. Also, that money goes toward the facilities or whatever needed, and anything that's left over, use it for the general population kids that maybe free scholarships, kids that do good in high school, maybe they have good grades, maybe they can get a free scholarship because of that money. Why does it have to go to an individual player versus really just doing the right thing and just benefiting the whole university? Because if you're only benefiting one or two, individual players, you never know how those individual players are going to perform after they get that money. But if you do it for the university, everyone rallies together to make that university even stronger athletically. So I wish they would have thought this out more versus just saying, let's play the players, because I think in the long run it would have helped more with the athletic department, with education, and helping others. That's the way I look at it. I wish they would have thought that. I don't know if that makes any sense to you, but I think it would have been a better route. I really do.
They didn't think any of this through, Freddie. They really didn't. They just said, we got to get out of here before we get sued, so do whatever you want, and the NCAA walked away. And instead of trying to get pulling the reins, I've said it for a long time that the individual conferences should not be negotiating their own rights deals. That should go to NCAA and college football as a property itself, as a whole, with all 131 teams, which is too many, but that's another story for another day. They don't have enough people worried about doing the right thing. And a lot of times the right thing to do and the hard thing to do are the same thing to do. And I think he just hung up on us.
I think he just had to go do something. He just said, I got to go.
Oh, man. Pete's got to get out of the oven, man. Got to get out of the oven. So, there's no sort of one size fits all utopia sort of idea here. I just think that unionizing, I'll stand by it. That should be, do a college football related income split, and whatever revenue is generated by college football stays within college football.
Gosh, it's going to be great when the colleges have to pay them a cost of living expense because the union negotiated it.
They're already paying for their living.
Hey.
What are you talking about? They're already paying for it.
I know that. That's just how unions work, Anthony. They're not for all that free labor that these athletes have been giving for the last 100+ years.
Is there a cost of living expense written into an NFL contract? No, there's not.
There may be.
There's not.
Salary cap increase.
Salary cap. That's what we're talking about. Hours, salary cap.
Can't wait for a college union leader to be busted for embezzlement.
Maybe look at a president elected. We'll be back after this. Back into Monty Williams. James Edwards knew the whole time, and he didn't tell us. We'll talk about it next year. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
You are very popular. Your texts want your attention, your touchscreen wants your attention, social media wants your attention, and that tuna sandwich you just dropped between the seats definitely wants your attention. all of them can wait because you're busy driving. The Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police reminds you that April is Distracted Driving Awareness Month. We want you and everyone around you to be safe, so tell your distractions to wait, especially that tuna sandwich.
From planting a simple seed to managing a global food supply, growing, processing, and distributing food is the backbone of America. You deal with food safety and labor issues, cost control, and not to mention Mother Nature. But do you have time to explore research development and biotechnical tax credits? Properly administer payroll for temporary employees. Ensure that you're operating at your most profitable? That's where we come in. We're Bean Garter. And while your business is America's food supply, our business is helping you run your business better. We'll assist with tax credits, assess your processes and controls, and so much more. And while we may not be able to help you plant your crops, we can help you realize a rich financial harvest. From the family farm to worldwide distribution of all the things you grow, grow your business better. Experience service, expertise, and simplicity at Bean Garter. Find us online, beangarter.com. Bean Garter.
For a lot of us, music and mental health are intertwined. That's why the Collaborative Lab created In Tune, a free live stream event, and you're invited. May 18th is Mental Health Action Day, so take action for your own mental health by joining us from 7 to 9 p.m. Musical performances and conversations with the Verve Pipe, Barrel Bones, Carlos Sese, Cole Hansen, and more. Visit IUnderstandLoveHeals.org to learn how you can join the party for free.
Traverse City to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City. You're listening to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you ride along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening. Got a text here. How many 1,000-yard seasons by wide receivers have yielded them a playoff win? That's from our earlier discussion. Look, it doesn't, the wide receivers are a luxury good. That's what they are. You got to have them, but at the end of the day, there's guys like Amon-Ra, St. Brown that are out there that do not cost $15, $18, $22 million a season.
For now.
That's where you got to make your money. Yeah. And, for his next contract, we'll have to wait and see. But that's not, you don't buy a Ferrari when you got a family of 5. You just don't do it. It's a 2-seater. It's not practical.
I know. My parents, like 1997, they reintroduced the Thunderbird. So my dad had to have the new Thunderbird. 2-door car for 4, family of 4. Not a good idea.
Not a good idea, right? That's what wide receivers are. They're sports cars. They go real fast. Get you to point A to point B real fast, but not exactly economical. Hey, by the way, the Memorial Tournament is taking place right now in Dublin, Ohio. Danny Willett is your leader. He is 200 today through 6. So good there on Mr. Willett for leading the charge. Tigers have an off day today. They'll be back in action tomorrow with an opportunity. If they could sweep the series, they would find themselves over 500. How about that? They're 26-28 on the year. Riley Green has a fractured leg, and they're going to play tomorrow night, 8:10 first pitch on the south side against the White Sox. So we'll see if they can, beginning tomorrow, can kind of get this thing rolling. You got to work any of these games, Dan?
No, I am off this weekend. I have a bachelor party. I have 2 bachelor party, 2 weekends in a row, and then 2 wedding weekends in a row.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I'm going up to near Bay City.
Sounds expensive.
Tomorrow. It's a fishing charter this weekend. So, it's not like we're doing 3 rounds of golf or something.
Yeah, well, fishing charter will be fun.
I'm really excited.
What where are you going to be fishing at?
Lake Huron.
Okay.
Maybe Saginaw Bay. At ish.
All right. Did you hear about the young fellow that jumped off the cruise ship?
Yeah, just really not a good idea.
So
they probably tell you. You would imagine when you get on there, just don't jump off.
So he was allegedly dared by some other young people that were on the cruise at the same time. And it was dark out in the video. There's a video of it. And I can't believe, I don't know what deck he jumped from, but the fact that he hit the water and was all right, that's one thing. But then they throw out a lifesaver for him. And yeah, the current there he goes. And they're like, well, we haven't found him. And I'm like, dude, if you jumped off the side of that boat into the ocean, there was the cruise liner was off the coast of the Bahamas. You're jumping into the ocean at nighttime. I don't know what part of that sounds like a good idea. I wouldn't jump into Lake Erie at nighttime.
Well, and you just don't, obviously you don't understand because you're on the boat, how strong the current is that boat is making.
Dude, did you survive the propellers?
That boat is, as soon as you hit the water, you're getting pushed away from that boat because it's making enormous waves.
Are you getting pushed away or are you getting sucked into the propellers?
Yeah, that's a good point.
It depends on where you fall, right?
Right.
If you go under that boat, there's no coming back. You're not getting out of there. That's to me, they suspended the search for him, but I saw that yesterday. Actually it was this morning when I saw that, and I was like, man, that's a really, really poor decision there. My goodness. Poor kid. And what about his parents? Are they on the boat? Can you imagine hitting the water? You don't know what's underneath you. The middle of the ocean, it's pitch black out. There's no light except for the moon. And there goes the boat. Let's say you survive hitting the water. And you don't get hit by the propellers.
I mean, he did. Did you see it? Did you see the it seemed like he swam. He was swimming, but
yeah, I don't know where they're at in relation to the boat though. So I'm like, yo, are we going back further? Like, did he go under? Like, I don't know. But his body gets turned, and it does look like he's swimming away. But at what point, like, let's say you do make it through all that. You look at the boat and you realize that, okay, it's pitch black. The boat that I'm supposed to be on, where maybe my parents are on the boat, is sailing away from me. They're not going to get me. Like, it's over. And now you have to try to survive in the ocean, in that you don't know what's under there. You have no idea what's in that ocean. That's like, oh, free meal. Like, people like sharks. What about an octopus? Have you ever seen an octopus eat anything? Like a big one? Hey, ocean is terrifying. We were in the Bahamas one time, and the water is so clear you can see the floor. And, I mean, it might have been 30 feet. Like, straight down, like, crystal clear. Like, how far is that, you think? Like, it's far. Like, we need to drop something.
It's probably farther than you think because the water magnifies.
Right. I mean, it
looks like it's 30 feet. It's probably 100.
Dude, but it was so crystal clear. It's like, wow, that's amazing. Look at all these fish swimming. Which one of these things is going to eat me? Let's not get in the water. You know, it's terrifying. Let's see. Will's driving to Byron Center. Side note, what's a guy got to do to get a tornado of souls for the next bumper tune? Tornado of souls. I don't know. Pay
we'll
Dan.
Have to work on that. We can do that tomorrow, maybe. We'll throw
or Monday. It sounds like is that metal music? It sounds like it would be metal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Metal Monday. All right. We'll stash Tornado of Souls, and we'll get Will all fired up on his daily commute. All right. Tonight, 8:30 tip-off, ABC, the Denver Nuggets taking on the Miami Heat. And just so you know, right, because I know John Wagner tried to pitch that, oh, I can't believe you'd watch Game 7, blah, blah, blah. Liam Hendricks, blah, blah, blah. Did you know that Game 7 higher in final national viewership in adults 18 to 34 and 18 to 49, the most watched program since the Super Bowl? Topped the NCAA Men's Championship game, the Academy Awards. Like, what are you talking about? You want me to watch meaningless game 53? I know, good story. Guy came back from cancer. Guy pitched 1 inning. Like, come on, John. So I made sure when I saw that from Sports Business Journal to make sure that I could tag him in that so that he was aware that, yes, I'm not some sort of psychopath. Like, dude, everybody's watching Game 7 in the playoffs. And we'll get Game 1 tonight. Here's the good news about Game 1 tonight between Miami and Denver. I want this for Mike Malone, Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray, and, of course, Nikola Jokic. Right? That's a really good team that they've constructed. They've stuck with it. They've trusted their guys. Like, they're a fun team to watch. I like Jimmy Butler a lot. If you listen to this program, you know Jimmy Butler is I love that dude. He is one of my guys. So, really, I don't actually feel like I even have a horse in the race here. Like, I'm just going to sit back and pray to God this thing goes overtime, 1-possession game, 7-game series the entire time. And that we get some real dramatic flair, and there's nothing that's out there, too lopsided to where it makes like, oh, it's a clunker of a game. Like, no. Like, give me the best, most compelling series you can, and please make it 7 games. Because what we saw last night in the sports world, entering the dead zone here, there's not a whole lot going on. It's getting a little scary. Please go 7 games. Do you guys have a favorite? Do you guys want a specific team to win?
Oh, man.
Is there one guy that you're like, yeah?
I think we can all agree we want Jimmy Butler to get one. But I want Nikola Jokic to win one too. It's a toss-up for me.
Yeah, I think I'll lean Miami, but I think with the consensus of the show, I think we're okay with whichever team wins. But I'll lean Miami. I'll root for Jay Butt.
And
Jimmy Butler.
I just love the differing styles we are going to see, and of quality basketball too.
Yeah, and I said yesterday I was going to play something for you that I really love from Jimmy Butler, and here's Jimmy on his team.
I want to ask about something that's been talked about with the Heat for literally decades. But you guys came in as an 8 seed, and you survived losing 3 in a row and all the history that was coming down at you. How does that apply to Heat culture, what you've been able to accomplish this particular spring?
I'm not going to say losing 3 in a row is part of the Heat culture that we like to talk about, because we don't play to lose. We don't want to lose. They're an incredible team over there, and they will be for a while. I just think, the guys that Coach Spo and Coach Pat put together, when a guy goes down, the next guy could fill in that gap and do exactly what that guy that went down did, and do it at a high level. And then, be humble enough to know that when that guy comes back, you got to take a step back and get back in your role. And nobody ever complains. They always do exactly what you ask of them to do, which is why you want to play with guys like that, which is why they're the reason that we win so many games. I don't call them role players. I call them teammates, because your role can change any given day, especially with how many games I've missed and, in and out of lineup, off nights, whatever you call it. But we got some hoopers. We got some real deal basketball players that can score, can defend, can pass, and can win games for us.
I don't call them role players. I call them teammates. That's why I like Jimmy Butler. Team guy. Team guy. Do you know he's coming out with he's working on his own country album? Jimmy Butler.
Really?
Yeah, he was so tired of people wearing their headphones around their neck and having to listen to what they were when the Beats by Dre and the big thick chord was coming out, and everybody had them on. He said they were so obnoxiously loud that people wouldn't even wear them on their ears; they wear them around their neck. And he asked, some of his teammates, turn that off or whatever, and he's like, I don't want to listen to that. And they're like, no, man, listen to what. He said, okay. So he went and looked up the most country song he could find, it's somebody like Alan Jackson or something. And he said he downloaded it, he put it on his headphones, and he did the same thing that his teammates are doing. Like, oh, you got to turn that off. He's like, you listen to what's in your headset, and I'll listen to what's in mine. And he's like, then all of a sudden I started listening to the words, and I was like, wow. And he's like, I became a country fan, and I'm working on a country album, allegedly.
I can't wait to hear it.
Jimmy Buckets. By the way, he's also filed for a trademark for Himmy Buckets. It could be a clothing line. I don't know what's going to be. Danny and Brighton on the NBA Finals calling in. Good morning, Danny. How are you, my friend?
Anthony, good morning, my friend. How are we doing today?
Oh, it's been a day.
It's always a day. It's just a different day.
Mm-hmm.
So since apparently there's bumper music requests, I have a personal request by one of my all-time favorites, the local Ann Arbor boy, named James Osterberg, also known as Iggy Pop. I would like to toss in Now I Want to Be Your Dog as bumper music possible selection. Dan, tee that up as soon as you can. Thank you very much.
You got it. Nothing like some Stooges.
Is there? No doubt. So I have like 3 minutes worth of NBA knowledge, and that's pretty much all I'll ever know. But the interesting thing I find about these two teams, Denver and Miami, is those two front offices specifically, they stuck with their guy and they stuck with their plan. Miami, because Pat Riley Spoelstra's his guy, but especially Denver. Denver's had a lot of bad luck and a lot of losses often when they've had a really good team, and they stuck with Michael Malone and they stuck with their players, and there they are. And you can compare that to Philly and Milwaukee and Phoenix, who also had really successful regular seasons for multiple seasons, and they're like, yeah, we're done with this guy. Philly, I don't blame, because I think Doc Rivers is probably one of the most overrated coaches, if not the most overrated coach in the NBA. That guy's going to milk his one title, for a millennium, for a lifetime. Going to where did he end up this time? Who's he coaching now?
Who, Nick Nurse?
No, Doc Rivers.
Doc Rivers is still available, I believe. Is he not?
Yes, I believe he is.
Yeah, Nick Nurse went to Philly. Doc Rivers is still unemployed.
I knew Nick Nurse went to Philly. So I just think that, it's as especially as a Detroit fan, because, we get really tired of the P word, patience. But you see that it does pay off if you have the right plan and you know you have the right plan, you have the right players and the right people in place, sometimes you have to trust the process. And props to Denver and Miami. They just trusted the process. Listen, we know we have the right guys. We can do this. And, I think about, I'm looking at the Lions and the Tigers. You compare those right now. I think the Tigers have some of the pieces in place. Obviously, the injury bug is just calamitous to them. But when you look at who they pick up the right guy. It's like the Lions when the Lions won 3 games. They were still competitive even though they lost a bunch of guys to injuries because they kept picking up the right guy. Well, this guy will do for now until we get this person back because we think this person is the right guy. And I hope that so far in, however many games in the month of June, what Scott Harris has done with the Tigers, I'm in. I believe in him. So, and along like what Riley did with the Heat and whoever the GM of the Denver Nuggets did with Michael Malone and that team. They just trusted. This is what we're going to do. There's a lot to be said for that.
There is. You just hope that you got the right guy. If you really believe that you have the right guy, it makes life a whole hell of a lot easier. And it also helps when you have the right roster. And, if you got an MVP on your team, a 2-time MVP on your team, that's definitely going to help as well. Because at the end of the day, it is going to come down to the 5 on the floor. I don't care who you have on the bench. At that level, you got to have players.
But look at where Jokic was drafted. That guy wasn't the first overall pick.
No, he was drafted during a Taco Bell commercial. Was he 41st? Something like that?
I think 41st, yeah. 41st, 42nd maybe? Yeah, somewhere around there.
So a lot of times when you fret about the fact that, the Pistons lost the number 1 pick, hey, there's a dude. Donovan Mitchell was the 9th pick. That guy's a freaking stud. You can find the guy. You can find the guy. You just have to, again, you have to trust the process and just hope that you have the right people in place. So far, we've seen that Brad Holmes of the Lions, he is finding the right guys, and they fit into and you see you're seeing the results slowly. Just hope that Troy Weaver has the same thing going on with him, that he has his guys. And it'll be interesting to see his guys with buffed up, fully healthy Kate Cunningham or interacting with Jaden Ivey and Jalen Graham.
Yeah, it's going to be hopefully it's something that we see will be very special with Monty Williams, and he can get this young group up and moving. Danny, appreciate the call. Hey, step into a world of nonstop action with the DraftKings Casino. Play the classics like blackjack, roulette, and slots, plus enjoy exclusive games you can't find anywhere else. Right now, new customers who deposit at least $5 can get a match of their first deposit and score up to $2,000 in casino bonus funds. Download the DraftKings Casino app right now. Sign up using the promo code HUGE and get a match of your first deposit of $5 or more up to $2,000 in casino bonus funds only at DraftKings Casino, only with the promo code HUGE. If you or somebody knows a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline at 800-270-7117. 21 plus Michigan, only one bonus opted in per customer. Minimum $5 deposit, maximum $2,000 deposit, and bonus amounts require 15 times playthrough within 30 days. See terms at casino.draftkings.com/players choice. For Dan and Ryan and Anthony, we'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for my good friend Tom Rosenbach and his team at Bean Carter. They're one of America's top accounting and business firms. They're based in downtown Grand Rapids, and now they're stronger than ever before with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew. Now, Dorn Mayhew is an east side firm. Now you get the west side of Michigan with Bean Carter, and whether you're a small business or big business, they can handle all of your accounting and business needs at Bean Carter. Just go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I mentioned with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew, they cover all of Michigan, the Midwest, and coast to coast. Find out how the pros at Bean Carter can help your business today. Go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I know Tom Rosenbach and his team are so happy about their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew.
Imagine this, a day filled with indulgence, bursting with excitement, and packed with extraordinary moments that build memories to last a lifetime. A day that is unmistakably yours, at the place that is undeniably spectacular. Whether you're winning big dining lavishly, or relaxing oh so comfortably. It's your getaway reimagined at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.